What's up, besties? Welcome back to the Estie Bestie Tea Time. Yesterday was the solar eclipse on 4/8, and I had a couple things happening the week before that I kind of took a note of, and there are some things that I wanted to chat with you about today because I think the eclipse energy really got to the PMU industry. People. So let's get into it. Welcome back. I'm happy you're here, and this is episode 4. An improv episode of Estie Bestie Tea Time. Athena here, and I am ready to spill the tea and actually get into it. I'm sitting here with my own popcorn, just watching the show, as I know a lot of us estheticians have been in the recent weeks. But when I said 2024 was FAFO, I absolutely meant it. And I predicted that back in 2023 too. What kind of energy is going to be happening in 2024. And that is bringing to light all of the people that have been scamming, that are not operating professionally, that are put on pedestals, that put themselves there and then put their friends on pedestals next to them. So they have this huge conglomerate. It's a conspiracy theorist. They have this huge conglomeration where it's they promote one another. They share back-end data to market to one another. And I'm going to say this as allegedly. And I'm going to say this as speculation in some sense. So, I want to be able to have my opinion and say what I'm thinking is happening and make my predictions without them being she's slandering me. She's defaming me. No, honey, if it's not, a lie and it's absolutely true, and I'm saying this is true, this is happening, and I'm saying that, I can say it. It's free speech. I can say whatever the heck I want, especially if it's true. So, try me. But anyways, let's get back to the point. This week has been a roller coaster, and yesterday was the eclipse. So let me just tell you what I saw the entire week leading up to the eclipse. It was Tammy Taylor Nails. She exposes her previous business partner and a violation of her licensing contract and a theft of her intellectual property, right? Even her own personal identity. Insane, insane, insane. Not Tammy, the situation. Let me be clear on that. I think that if someone that big is going to come out and say, this person did this person did that, they have all the evidence to prove that that is actually what happened. People are not out here on Instagram, on Facebook, on any platform, on podcasts, saying things that are untrue, knowing the legal ramifications of what can happen if you go out and you speak ill will or ill things that are untrue about others. So let's just take that off the table right there. The second thing that I saw this week, this one might shock you a little bit. This one was Yakov. Okay. Yakov Gershkovich. And I hope that I'm not butchering his name because it is, a different tongue than mine. But he actually is the creator of the pulsing facelift and the sculpting facelift. And he caught some of his students trying to pass off his course as their own. What? They copied his course and they literally tried to pass it off as their own. So I'm just sitting here eating my popcorn, what is happening right now? I knew 2024 was going to be wild, but this last week has been insane. And then, it's a little off topic here. And then I, just yesterday, literally at 7 o'clock at night, was commenting on a random Facebook post in a PMU group. And I was like, oh, let me make a recommendation. This girl seems to be having an issue with eyeliner implantation, right? And if you know me, you know that I'm a former PMU artist. I did brows and areolas, and that was all I did. Never wanted to do lips, never wanted to do liner, don't want to touch eyeballs, don't want to be in people's mouths. Not for me. So I commented and I recommend somebody that I know does eyeliner, which is funny because that person and I had chatted earlier in the day, and she's like, yeah, I am, making my course on my specific technique because my technique is different than anything that I've seen and that I've been working on for years. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Cool. So when this comment came up, this post came up in this group, I was like, oh, well, I know this person. I like this person. I've worked with this person before. They're trustworthy. They're honest. Let me recommend them. So I literally never commented PMU groups. I have left the PMU world. I think that it is like 3 times worse than the aesthetics industry when it comes to entitlement, and this whole entire podcast is going to prove my point on that. But I commented a recommendation, a simple, hey, I think this person, tagged the person, can help you. That was it. That's all I said. I got a comment on my comment from someone who is supposed to be a leader in the areola industry, in the areola micropigmentation industry, with a comment that said she doesn't need, like 10K or 15K of coaching. I was confused. I was like, where is this coming from? What? I'm just recommending somebody. Like, what is this comment? So then I've seen this person comment multiple times before against organizations and just making like really unprofessional statements, like saying there's like a drunk president, and, inappropriate parties and things like this. And I've seen these comments being made in other groups before by this specific person. So, like, I kind of have had enough because I took this person's areola course back in 2020. And I liked it. I did it. I had no qualms about it. I think I did my 6 months and did my case studies and got my certification in like December of 2020, right? So, like, I commented back and I absolutely was shocked at the attempt at defame of a course or a program that is a fellow PMU educator in the industry. I was like, this is what our leaders are. This is what people look up to. How? So I called her out and I said, I don't think that you should be throwing stones when you have a glass house. Because quite frankly, I've seen this person comment negatively multiple times in multiple groups against the same organization and same people when nobody's asking for their opinion or advice, right? They're just actively out here attempting to defame and slander people. And I don't know how the industry doesn't see this. I know you guys do, but why are you allowing this person to continue to do this type of behavior and hold them on a pedestal that they don't deserve to be on? I lost all respect for this person yesterday. I give people chances. I usually stay quiet in PMU groups. I usually don't comment back, but this, I had really seen enough. I'd seen what I needed to see. And there was no relevancy to her comment other than the attempted defamation. And so she got like, I don't know if it was like mean girl-ish type. And I'm going to be like, this is my opinion. It was a very mean girl like attitude towards me. Like hugs. Like, girl, excuse me? Like, you can slide into my DMs if you want my receipts. Like, that's fine. DM still hasn't happened, by the way. But it's like, why are people continuously stealing from others, knowing there's a contract, trying to steal courses, knowing you have a licensing agreement and contract if you are hired by them, or if you're taking their class, you literally can't steal somebody's class and remake it. And then why are the leaders of the PMU industry out here trying to defame other permanent makeup artists and coaching problems? What is going on, you guys? So let's let all of this kind of marinate. Let's let it digest for a second. Let's think back as like individuals in the industry. Let's say we're brand new. We're brand new and we don't know any better, right? Nobody's told us that there are OGs in the industry. No school has informed us how to legally protect our courses, and we want to go out and make a course. Nobody has told us that this person has done them wrong or is continuously doing others wrong and leading in a really negative way. Nobody's told us this. Let's just pretend we're brand spanking new and nobody's told us this. How are we going to figure this out? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to figure it out by either 1, being burned ourselves, 2, taking a mediocre course that wasn't from the OG person, and 3, being deterred away from anybody that has a positive impact on us because we're shielded by these Facebook groups that are, and let's be 100% honest, 100% what all the estheticians and PMU artists run to as soon as they get out of school or they're in school and they're looking for these types of things. So it's like, I just see such clouded judgment based off of not knowing, and that's nobody's fault other than like our own. I have absolutely fallen for scams and weird courses and thought people were amazing people until I continuously paid attention and like saw the things that they were doing and had my own experiences. But here's the thing. Once you have your own experiences and you see all these things and you're viewing all these things and it's all coming to light in 2024. Once we actually see these things and these people start speaking out about what's actually going on, it really makes you go back and think, like, the experience that I had with X, Y, and Z, I wonder if that was legit or not. Or you go back and you're like, well, yeah, I fell for that. Shame on me, won't happen again. So it's like 2024 has been and will continue to be, mark my words, an eye-opening era for justice and truth. And I think that as an entire community, we need to start standing up. We need to start speaking out. We need to stop having fear about speaking out because of, quote unquote, litigious people or things that might happen. I mean, I can tell you right now that people don't speak up because they're fearful. There are people in this industry that will call you to tell you that they are going to sue you. And I'm saying this as fact because it has happened to me. When you speak out and say, hey, this person isn't the first one to do X, Y, or Z, I've seen it done X, Y, or Z place before. And that could actually cause someone to call you to threaten to sue you. Don't be afraid of that. Do not be afraid of your truth, your experiences. Do not be afraid to speak out. Do not be afraid to speak facts as long as you have evidence to back it up and it is actually a true statement. I think one of the biggest things too that we're learning here in 2024 is that empowering others to speak their truth is going to be something that holds the industry to a higher standard. And this is exactly what I mean by like the people that built pedestals themselves and then built their friends a pedestal to stand next to them. Those are the people that are truly at the top of the industry right now, whether it be aesthetics and, PMU. Those two overlap, right? Thankfully, we don't have to get into like the hair industry as much. I know a lot of maybe hairstylists look at doing aesthetics as well and bringing like skincare services in, but they're like a whole different animal and beast that like I have no idea and I can't speak on the hair industry. I have a couple professionals that, I'm very close with that are, and they don't seem to have the same things that we deal with because of the lack of regulation. The hair industry, I feel, is a little bit more regulated when it comes to product sales for professionals, like, chemicals and things like that. But I also know there's some things going on over there that I learned about recently right before the Eclipse as well, which is kind of crazy. Like the whole Maggie thing. Holy moly, that's insane. Whole nother story. And maybe I'll do a podcast on that one with someone from the hair industry to bring them in. But my point is, like, I think people need to be empowered to speak out. And the only way that people are going to be empowered to speak out is if people actually start sharing their stories. I personally have never been afraid to share my stories. I've never been afraid to share the receipts. And that's something that has maybe labeled me as somebody who, okay, let me put this in like a third party perspective. Like I'm seeing me from the outside. I understand why a lot of estheticians might look at me and a lot of companies might look at me and say, oh, she's litigious. Oh, she's causing problems. That's not where I personally, from me as an individual, am coming from. I have been done wrong. I speak out about it. I see others being done wrong. I know how to teach them and educate them so that they are not done wrong again. That's my purpose. That is why I share my stories. That is why I share what to look for in valuable companies, in valuable courses, in making and building valuable relationships with people and businesses. That's where my heart is at. Perspective-wise, I can see how it got a little bit skewed when there are masses of people that stick together and they say one thing or another and they start rumors and gossip. It can be, a little bit hard to stay in your truth if you're not telling the truth. If I were making up stories, it would be easy, very easy to quiet me down. However, the fact that I don't make up stories, the fact that I actually live, breathe, and speak the truth, and I share it with you guys, is why I keep speaking about it, is why it doesn't affect me what the perspective might be. Does it make me a little bit sad? Absolutely. But am I empowering others through the Estie Bestie brand to speak up, to have standards, to ask companies to hold themselves accountable and have ethics? That is the point. All of the stuff that we are seeing happen, all of these companies that are sharing, like Tammy Taylor, she's sharing how her licensing deal is in breach of contract with her former business partners. Like Yakov, his entire method, his modality that he spent the last 25 years developing, training on, and sharing with everybody to make sure that his services and his technique can be shared across the world has been stolen. To other people in the industry who are leaders, who are speaking bad about others just to position themselves in a quote-unquote better light. It needs to stop. All of this crazy stuff needs to stop. We all need to, as a collective industry, stop stealing from others. Stop thinking that you can just take a course, remake it, and call it your own. Stop ignoring those contracts that we sign. We need to start getting onto our contracts. We need to start making sure that we are running businesses the right way so that at the end of the day, if something happens like with Tammy and like Yakov, we can legally hold them accountable. And there's nothing wrong with that. Why are you going to spend your whole entire career in your life building something that you can't at the end of the day protect? That's something that should not be frowned upon. The only people that frown upon you protecting your business are people that want to steal from you or take from you or benefit from you not winning and you being quiet about protecting your business. And that's the truth. Nobody that I've ever run into that does actual business the right way, and by the right way, I mean legally sound, they have contracts, they protect their business, they enact their contracts when they are violated or they're in breach. Nobody that I've ever spoken to that has had to do that ever regrets having to protect their business. They learn their lesson, they pick better people to work with, and they actually get what they put into their business back, because you can't just take from people. You can't take from people, you can't deter people, you can't slander or defame people, you can't make up stories. You can't do that and go to sleep well at night. Let's just be honest. So as an industry where everybody is becoming more educated, hopefully, you guys are becoming more educated on what to look for. You're becoming more educated on how to protect yourselves as a business as well as a consumer against courses and made up stuff and false claims for advertisement. You're learning these things. You're seeing industry professionals act as a professional and enact their rights with their business and their contract, or you're seeing professionals act out of fear that you're going to go somewhere else to somebody that they don't like. So you get to pick which one you want to be. Do you want to be a professional that knows your business, is sound in your business, is grounded in your own truth, knowing that you are operating and you can sleep well at night because you're doing things the right way, the ethical way? Or you're going to be that person that tries to speak out in Facebook groups against others by spreading negativity. You have a choice. And I ask you before we end our podcast for today, which one are you going to be? And which business owner are you going to look up to at the end of the day? Food for thought. If you guys like this podcast, please make sure that you are reviewing, leaving some good notes for other estheticians and PMU artists to follow along. If you have any things you want me to talk about or have any questions, make sure you message me or DM me at the Estie Bestie on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, info@theestiebestie.com for email. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'll see you next time on the Estie Bestie Tea Time.